Hello and welcome to another edition of Rarer Hot Wheels. Now I hope all you folk out there are staying safe and staying locked indoors. I don't mean you can't go in the gardens, but please stay indoors to stop the spread of this COVID-19. It's getting quite serious and a few friends and family, or a few friends of family, are now diagnosed as positive. So we're hoping that things will start to slow down soon. However, back in Rarer Hot Wheels HQ, we're looking at some different vehicles today. As in the title, we're covering the usual Matchbox, Hot Wheels, but also a couple of lesser shown brands with Zyll, formerly known as Zyll, and that lot there from Welly. And there's some unusual castings, I would say mostly from the 80s, some from the 90s, some from the noughties. All loose ones, and I hope you enjoy them. So, stay safe folks, and let's go and have a look at some Rarer Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Zyll and Welly. So, first up is this armoured truck from the 2014 Police Pursuit 5-pack in a very bright lime green. And it has a plastic body shell. I'm not sure if all of them have plastic body shells over the years, but, excuse me, it is quite a bright colour. Introduced back in 1997, the armoured truck was designed by somebody, but I don't know who it was, so I can't tell you who it was. But it's still in production now, and it looks to be a development from the ages-old Redline Funny Money truck. Now we head over to Matchbox with this Chevy K1500 monster truck, four-wheel drive pickup, and in a very bright fluorescent orange. So we have the first two cars today in orange and lime green. Poke your eye out colours. Anyway, introduced back in 1996, the K1500 is still made these days. And this particular one is from a 1996 5-pack called the Off-Road 5-pack. And it's in reasonably good condition for its age. It still retains most of the chrome on the roll bars. And yeah, it's quite a cool little ride. So there we have it, the first of the Matchbox cars. Right, this next model up is a Welly. Now Welly has been around since 1979, making cars for themselves and for other manufacturers, and not all of them have the Welly ID underneath, but you can generally tell one by the wheels on it, which looks similar to the late 80s Corgis, when Corgis looked cheap. Now this is a car that could be new, it could be quite old, but what it actually is a GMC Vanjora, or GMC G20, the same vehicle as was used by the A-Team. Like I say, I have no idea of the age of this thing, but I like it and it's in my collection, so I'm showing it to you. This casting is a Peugeot 405 T16 from the late 80s, a rally car, and in this case it looks like one of the Rally Raid versions with the jacked up suspension. Now, Zyll, or Z, I think as it was sometimes called, became Motormax, which you can buy cheaply in most shops now. Motormax still tend to run these same sort of wheels, but I have no idea when the 405 T16 was actually made. I can say it is the only model of one I have actually found anywhere, and it is quite a cool little model. When you look inside the back window, there's a little bit of detail in there, although it doesn't actually look like the engine that it's representing, but all in all, 405 T16 is a nice addition to anybody's collection. And now we go back to Matchbox with this Team Matchbox Formula 1 style racing car from, in this instance, a batch of years from 1973 to 1977, which was when this maroon version was made. Now you look as it turns, and you can see how deep the pearlescent candy paint is on this thing. It really glows under the light. So it wasn't just Hot Wheels with the Spectraframe that made cool looking paints. Matchbox did as well. Anyway, this one was introduced in 1973 and ran through until 1982 with a few colour combinations or variations over the years. In 73 there was also yellow and blue ones issued, and in 1978 there were green, red and orangey maroon ones, and that pretty much covers it. Now back to Hot Wheels with this casting, which is called Slider, and is one of the Torpedoes range that came out in 2005, designed by Phil Rahman. Now this is one of the first editions, which was a 2005 version, and there were two variations in this colour with different wheels. and that is about it. It also made an appearance in 2006 and 2008 with a white and a purple one respectively. But other than that, it's a bit of an oddball car with a narrow body shell. It's kind of based on a muscle car, somewhere in there. Oddly, it's right-hand drive, which is unusual for a Mustang, for a Hot Wheels casting, and it kind of looks from the side like a Mustang, maybe from the front and rear as well. Not too sure, but it's a bit of a muscle car-ish thing. A bit like a Streamliner, really. Would be good on the salt flats with thin wheels. Now, staying with Hot Wheels, we go back to 2002, and I think it was only produced in 2002 with one of the Hot Tuners series cars, which sort of fitted the 3-inch package in length, but in terms of height and width, it was more like a 1/50th scale car. They were like one of your tuned vehicles, but slightly bigger and slightly better quality. Nicely made, no interiors, just blacked out windows. There's not a lot of information on these on any of the wikis, other than the fact that there were several variations of this. So there were Subaru Imprezas and a few other bits and pieces done as well. All in all, quite a nice looking little ride, especially in purple. And finally, for this show, we have this, a IROC Firebird. Now, for those who don't know, IROC stands for International Race of Champions, which was a race series in the United States. Now, this particular version in silver came out in 2001 as a mainline, and features the 5-spoke wheels in black, but with Goodyear Eagle scripting written on the sides of the tyres. And it's a really cool little car. And in this particular version, it actually looks quite like a race vehicle. I like it quite a lot. Now, it was introduced in 1998, still pops up from time to time now, and was designed by Mark Jones. Well folks, that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon, and don't let the coronavirus bite. All the best, toodles!